Hi everyone, my name is Emily. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, and this is my Teenpact Story. It all began in fall of 2013 when my parents sat my brother and I down and started talking about a Christ-centered political camp for teens. I was 17 at the time and my brother was 15, and they thought it would just be a great fit for us. I started to hear more about Teenpact through just some of the things my dad was researching up, and he said that would be a good political camp, and I want you guys to get involved. When I heard the term political camp, I was kind of turned off right away. I was like, we're going to learn about politics? No way. There's no way you're going to push me into that. And eventually some time progressed and we realized that we in the end didn't really have an option. It was just we were going, and that was that. Dad had also mentioned at the time that if we really loved it that much we could go again. I was convinced I wouldn't love it that much. It's one of those moments where I look back on it and it's like, actually parents were actually right on this one. And so then began their journey to get ready for what would be the start of a great journey. So in February of 2014 was when my mom drove my brother and I to what is considered a state class, which is where students come in and they learn about the political process while taking a stand for their faith, and learn more, most importantly, how Christ can come into learning about government and how Christ can be glorified and magnified through the whole process. I was still kind of adamant about it, still kind of like, I'm not sure about this. I don't know if this is something I really want to get involved with, but I just ended up going. I was like, okay, I'm here. I've just got to try to make the best of it, even if I absolutely hate it. Only time will tell that. So actually on day one, I started getting to kind of know different people, kind of meet different people, and I just automatically, the atmosphere was something I had never experienced before my entire life. I've grown up in church, and I've had people that have been kind to me, but nothing on the level of the way that Teenpact works and the way that they work, and the way that Christ is magnified through the organization of Teenpact. And it truly shows the reflection of Christ is truly shown and made known through the team as a whole, and even the students as well. So I was completely brought into that idea, and I started wondering, okay, what else? Am I going to really enjoy this? As they start talking more about politics, about how bill becomes law, and how we can have a voice for things that we are passionate about, things that we want to have an opinion on, we can share our opinion in a way that glorifies Christ without getting haughty about it or intense, to where it's on a level that truly magnifies the Lord. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. And one of the neatest things I got to experience was the opportunity to be intentional about praying for people involved in the government process, whether it was a president, senators, representatives. We went on prayer walks, and we got to lift these people up in prayer that make crucial decisions that impact our world on a day-to-day basis. And it was just such a neat thing I got to experience, and just the importance of lifting them up to the Lord, because they have to make these crucial decisions, and if they're not led by Christ and they're not led in the wisdom that Christ gives, they will falter. And so that was one of the things that I was completely drawn in by, and thought, wow, I get to be here and I get to lift these people up to the Lord, and really ask that God's name would be glorified in our government, in our politics, in our world, in my life. And it was just such a neat experience overall. I was completely, one thing that the Lord taught me is just being able to get out of my comfort zone. I've always been had a hard time when it comes to standing up in front of people, speaking boldly, getting up in front, and just being able to talk to people openly. And the way that the Lord really showed me that He was with me was one time when I was able to talk about a bill that I had written for the class itself. And I got up there and I was just able to talk, and people didn't even realize that if I had any hint of nervousness, they couldn't tell, because I got up there, I said what I needed to say, and I was finished. And it was just so incredible how the Lord kept me calm through that process, and He showed me that He was with me through that, and that He's with anyone who just seeks to honor Him through their words and actions, whether they're talking about a bill that they're trying to pass, or whether they're sharing the story of their life and how the Lord has used them. And so that's something that the Lord really taught me. And He also taught me how I can too make a difference in my world because of how He's used Teenpact. He was able to use me to help promote an amendment that was important to me and to the state of Tennessee at the time. And because I was able to get to become a part of that team, God really used me, and He showed me that, hey, you can do this, and you can glorify my name through this, and I will be with you wherever you go and however you decide to use your voice. I will strengthen you. I will be with you. And so that's something that the Lord really taught me through the whole process, and the importance of good communication and how to love and serve others well. And the staff was so incredible and so intentional about showing me that, and how I can be that kind of light and that kind of influence to people around me as well. So some of you are asking, this sounds great. How can I get involved? Whether you're a parent, whether you're a student watching this, if you do view this, I encourage you to go to www.teenpact.com to learn more about the organization and how you can get involved and how you can get your children involved. There are 2 different classes that take place. There is a 1-day class for younger students between the ages of 8 through 13, and then a 4-day camp, more of a camp type environment for ages 13 through 19. I had the privilege of doing this for 3 years, and I have no regrets. So I encourage you, if you're looking for a faith-based camp that covers civics and in a way that's fun and engaging and hands-on, you will not be disappointed to discover Teenpact. And I encourage you, go and check it out. And I know with what's going on in our world right now, things are put on a hold, but it's not too late to look into the future for what God has in store for the future. God has had His hand over this ministry even this year, and He has continued to see His name magnified and glorified through the ministry as people continue to be truly impacted by what God's doing through the ministry of Teenpact. Now, I know some of you are probably asking, is Teenpact just about politics? Because if it is, I don't know if I really want to get involved. No, Teenpact they don't just cover politics. Teenpact also has, they have an all-girls camp that usually takes place in the fall. They have an adventure survival program for people who are more into like the outdoors and wanting to learn more about how to just survive, on unlimited resource and be out in the midst of God's creation. And that would be camp for you. If you're into that kind of thing, like Bear Grylls, his kind of his It would be more of in his kind of territory. If you are, if you want to learn about law, what more about the law, and more about becoming a lawyer and what that looks like, there is a camp for that as well that takes place in Virginia. Actually at Liberty University, and that's a really neat hands-on experience as well, where you actually get to write up a case and make a stance for it. It's just really neat opportunity, and just different things like that. Those are just some of the camps. There are several alumni events, and they take place throughout the whole year. So I completely encourage you, if you decide that you get involved with Teenpact and you love Teenpact as a whole, look more into it. Look more into opportunities to gather with other Teenpacters and what you can do to be involved and to seek to glorify Christ through the ministry of Teenpact. Thank you so very much for taking the time to listen to my story and my testimony of how the Lord has used the ministry of Teenpact to truly impact my life, and how He can use the ministry of Teenpact to impact your life if you choose to get involved with that. And I deeply and strongly encourage you to. All right, thank you.